From Chuckles the Clown's heartbreak to the forgotten soldiers who chose to disappear, today we're breaking down the 10 saddest forgotten toys from Toy Story that Andy left behind. If you love Bo Peep, drop a comment below. And if you're a fan of Woody, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Number 1. Chuckles. The clown has one of the saddest stories in the entire franchise. Like Lotso, Chuckles had a hard life. They were both once loved by a girl named Daisy, but when Lotso discovered he had been replaced, he decided to drag Chuckles and Big Baby into his villain origin story as well. Because of him, Chuckles was forced to leave Daisy behind for good. Although he found a new home with Bonnie, he was never the same. The only time he ever smiled was when Bonnie made a drawing of him. Otherwise, he was constantly heartbroken. His trauma aside, Chuckles plays a crucial role in Toy Story 3 when he tells Woody the truth about Lotso. Sadly, he never returns in the rest of the films. It's unclear whether Bonnie eventually donated him or whether he still lives in her home somewhere off screen. Most likely the latter, since there was no real reason for Chuckles to be given away. Behind the scenes, he retired from the franchise after the passing of his voice actor Bud Lucky. Either way, Chuckles remains one of the saddest forgotten toys in Toy Story. Number 2. Stinky Pete never even got to know the love of a kid in the first place. While Woody fears Andy might outgrow him in Toy Story 2, Stinky Pete never even gets chosen. So when Al plans to sell the Roundup Gang to a museum in Japan, Stinky Pete sees it as his one chance to finally matter. Instead of letting Woody choose his own future, Stinky Pete turns bitter and sabotages his escape. Thankfully, his plan falls apart at the airport. Instead of ending up in a museum, Stinky Pete gets shoved into a little girl's backpack, and she just so happens to love drawing on her toys' faces. Although this feels like a horror film to Stinky Pete, it might actually be a blessing in disguise. After a lifetime of neglect, he finally gets the one thing he never had, a kid. So even though he never returns in the franchise, his fate is probably better than it looks. Number 3. Bo Peep may be the only toy on this list who disappears, yet somehow comes back even more important. Before Toy Story 4, Bo Peep was one of the franchise's biggest missing characters. Woody even mentions her in the third film as one of the friends they lost along the way. But for years, we never knew exactly what happened to her until Toy Story 4. Unlike Woody, who's always been loyal only to Andy, Bo believes that moving on to the next child is simply part of being a toy. But after her next kid neglects her, Bo stops waiting to be chosen and becomes a lost toy instead. She basically goes from porcelain lamp accessory to shepherd warrior. By the time Woody finds her again, she chooses where she goes and what kind of life she wants. That's what makes Bo Peep different from almost every forgotten toy on this list. Unlike Lotso, for instance, being left behind didn't break her. Instead, it gave her one of the most interesting character arcs in the franchise, which continued into Toy Story 5. Number 4. Did you notice Lotso never got a redemption arc like everyone else? Now, Lotso isn't really a forgotten character. He's one of the most iconic villains in the entire franchise, but we still haven't heard from him since Toy Story 3, and we all remember how that ended. Lotso ran Sunnyside Daycare like a cuddly dictator, then left the other toys to die right after they saved his life, all because Daisy replaced him after they got separated. Thankfully, instead of redemption, Lotso gets exactly what he deserves, strapped to the front of a garbage truck. If he had never escaped from that truck, Lotso may still be constantly getting hit with dirt and insects, among other disgusting things. Eventually, the same bear who once smelled like strawberries would probably wear down and rot away piece by piece. Out of every toy on this list, Lotso is the only one whose disappearance feels like justice instead of tragedy. Number 5. Wheezy's disappearance is proof that one broken part can end a toy's whole story. Before the events of Toy Story 2, his squeaker breaks, so Andy stops playing with him. And instead of getting fixed, Wheezy gets banished to the shelf and just accepts this fate. But Woody refuses to let Wheezy get sold at the yard sale, risking everything to bring him back inside. So in one way, the entire plot of Toy Story 2 gets triggered by a penguin who spends most of the movie coughing like he's got unpaid medical bills. By the end, the other toys replace his squeaker, and Wheezy glows up to a lounge singer. Sadly though, Wheezy's comeback doesn't last. By Toy Story 3, he's already gone. It's very likely that Wheezy was donated or even thrown away if he broke his squeaker again. It's also possible that the studio never brought him back out of respect for Wheezy's voice actor Joe Ranft, who passed away before Toy Story 3. Either way, like most forgotten toys in the franchise, the Squeaky Penguin story is extremely sad. Number 6. Mr. Mike never even got a proper goodbye after the second film. Mr. Mike is one of those toys you probably remember visually more than by name. In the first film, his main job is being Woody's literal mic whenever he addresses the room. Pretty standard toy meeting stuff, really. But in Toy Story 2, Mr. Mike becomes part of Wheezy's big comeback performance. This little machine gave him the experience of a lifetime, making Wheezy happier than he's ever been. Outside those moments, though, Mike doesn't get much to do. He isn't part of Woody's rescue mission, and he never even gets a proper goodbye after the second film. Out of every toy in Andy's room, Mr. Mike might be the quietest biggest exit in the whole franchise. If forgotten toy lore like this hits different for you, make sure you're subscribed, because we've got a lot more hidden Toy Story secrets coming your way. Number 7. Sarge and his soldiers are one of the only toys who chose to disappear on their own terms. The bucket of soldiers started as Andy's 200-piece army, but by Toy Story 3, only Sergeant and 2 paratroopers are left. These tiny plastic soldiers served Andy's room for years, handling surveillance and helping the toys survive multiple crises. And somehow, most of them still disappeared, likely thrown away by Andy's mom. In the third film, Sarge and the last 2 soldiers know Andy has grown up, so instead of waiting to be abandoned, they parachute out the window and leave on their own terms. And unlike many toys on this list, they actually get a somewhat clear ending. During the epilogue, they end up at Sunnyside, where Barbie and Ken are now in charge. So it's very possible Sarge and his men found a new mission there, serving entirely new kids. Number 8. Barbie and Ken might have gotten the best ending out of every toy on this list. Barbie's first appearance in the film starts in one of the most tragic ways possible, when Molly tosses her into the donation box. But when she arrives at Sunnyside and immediately meets Ken, it feels like coming to the daycare was a blessing in disguise. Although Ken sides with Lotso at first, he eventually helps Barbie and the others take back the daycare. By the end of Toy Story 3, Ken and Barbie are running Sunnyside together, turning it into an actual toy paradise. After that, their story basically ends. Barbie appears briefly in a Toy Story 4 flashback, but we don't get to see Ken at all. Still, they're most likely still managing Sunnyside together and having a great time, which honestly is one of the best fates any toy gets in this list. Number 9. RC might not talk, but he's still one of the most clutch toys in the franchise. In the first Toy Story, he helps Woody and Buzz escape Sid and catch up to Andy's moving truck like he's in a movie called Fast and Furious Toy Edition. Thankfully, RC survives the whole thing despite losing his remote, and even briefly returns in Toy Story 2. So either Pixar overlooked this little detail, the toys found the remote, or Andy's mom bought a replacement controller. Unfortunately, by Toy Story 3, RC is more or less gone, and we only see him in Andy's old home videos. Meanwhile, Toy Story 4 did give us one more flashback where Woody tries to save him during a rainstorm, but that happens before the events of the film. Outside that scene though, RC is nowhere to be found. Still, he might be one of the rare Andy toys connected to almost every film, even if indirectly. He even appears as a cameo in the Toy Story 5 credits, so it's nice to see Pixar hasn't completely forgotten him. Number 10. Etch-A-Sketch is proof that Pixar can give a toy personality without a single word of dialogue. Although he has a few fun moments in the first film, Toy Story 2 is where he actually shines. After Woody gets stolen, Etch identifies Al as the man in the chicken suit and even draws a map to Al's toy barn. But after Toy Story 2, he disappears from Andy's room. And by the third film, Woody directly mentions Etch as one of the toys they lost along the way. Like the other toys, Andy most likely outgrew him, and he was probably donated. Either way, it's sad to lose one of the most useful side toys in the franchise. And that's it. Which Forgotten Toys ending hit you the hardest, Chuckles or Stinky Pete? Let me know in the comments. And if you want part 2 with even more Forgotten Toys, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed, because we're uncovering even more secrets next time.